Guys, one of the coolest 80s shred guitars is back. I'm talking about the Fender Heavy Metal Strat, and in today's video, we're going to look at the history of this guitar and then also check out one of the brand new models. Alright, so the original HM Strats were made in the late 80s to early 90s from around 1988 to 1992. These ones were actually made in the Fujijin factory in Japan, and some of the later ones were still manufactured in Japan, at least the parts were, but then they were assembled in the US. So these can essentially be thought of as Japanese manufactured guitars. And I mean that in the best way possible, because the Fender products made in Japan during that era, the quality of those is really legendary. Now, when these guitars first came out, they were quite a departure from the traditional Fender Stratocaster, but the whole idea was basically to compete with all of the other companies that were bringing out Super Strat guitars, so those companies like Charvel and Jackson and Kramer. Those companies had all taken that classic Fender Stratocaster design, but then modified it for the new styles and the new techniques that players of the time were using. Those HM Strats had some really cool, really unique features, like a 17-inch fretboard radius, so it's a very, very flat fretboard. Also, they had a 25-inch scale length, which is similar to a PRS, but again, that's a big change from the 25.5-inch scale, which has always been associated with other Fender guitars. Also, for the bridge, they used a Kahler spider trim, and this is actually more similar to a Floyd Rose than a traditional Kahler. And to be perfectly honest, they didn't have the greatest reputation for tuning stability, and many people did end up modifying the guitars and swapping in a Floyd Rose bridge later on. The guitars also had 24 big jumbo frets and even a unique Strat headstock logo. Now, of course, when these guitars first came out, some of the Stratocaster purists didn't approve of them, but that didn't stop them from gaining a huge cult following that has only grown over the years. There's even some modern players like Ethan Brosh and Nathan Montalvo who are still using these original HM Strats today. Now we're in 2020, and I think Fender has recognized that the HM Strat has always sort of been lurking in the shadows waiting for a comeback. And it has made a comeback. I've got a brand new model of the Fender HM Strat right here in an awesome 80s yellow. Now guys, I actually did briefly have an original HM Strat, but it was many years ago, and to be totally honest, the one I had wasn't in very good shape. And now that I've had some time to sit down and play with this one, I can't believe that the original one could have played as good as this new one does, because this neck is just kind of blowing my mind here. Just like the original, this one has these massive 24 extra jumbo frets, and they're finished really, really nicely. The neck has a completely satin finish on the back of it, and it also has a really, really comfortable, really shred-friendly neck shape. It's sort of like a thin C shape to me, but it's very, very comfortable overall. And also like the original, this one has sort of an interesting scale length. They call it 25.1 inches, but I think we can just basically say it's about 25 inches, which is what the original HM Strat was. And of course, that's the scale length, right? So the distance from the nut down to the bridge. Now we've got a classic 80s pickup configurations. We've got a humbucker in the bridge, and then a single in the middle and a single in the neck. And the bridge pickup, you can actually split the coils on it with this switch right down here. Aside from that, we've got a 5-way pickup selector switch, a single volume, and 2 tone knobs. The body on the guitar is basswood. It's got a bolt-on maple neck, and like the original, this one is made in Japan. Now, one thing that they did change is the bridge. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people kind of had trouble with those old Kahler spider trims. So, of course, Fender today, they've just gone with a standard Floyd Rose special bridge on this one. Although it's not like the original, this is definitely an upgrade in my opinion. Now guys, I've got some really cool stuff coming up in this video. I'm going to have some playing clips in just a second. And also, Ethan Brosh, the guitar player that I mentioned earlier, he's going to be doing a segment in this video, so definitely stay tuned for that. But real quick guys, If you enjoy videos like this and you enjoy content like this, all kinds of cool guitars and things like that, and you have not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing right now. All right, guys, now we're going to talk to Ethan in just a second, but first, let's plug this thing in and listen to some of the tones that we can get out of the guitar. Alright guys, so after playing this guitar, the thing that really jumps out to me is the playability and in particular the feel of the neck and the frets. This is absolutely a shred guitar and it feels like it encourages you to play fast. But don't take my word for it. Ethan Brosh, who is the sort of modern day HM Strat expert, is going to join us now in the video and talk to us a little bit about the original guitars and how they compare to the new ones. Let's check this out. All right, so Ethan, first of all, man, thanks a ton for being involved in this video. When I think of the HM Strat, I automatically think of you because you've done so many cool music videos and playing. I know, like, you've been playing in Michael Sweet's band and you've been using the HM Strat in that project. So you're sort of a go-to expert on the HM Strat. So I really appreciate you joining me on the video and welcome.
Hey Max, how's it going? Thanks for having me. Really glad to be on your channel and doing this video. Absolutely, man.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Now, my first question has to do with the versatility of the HM Strat. Do you consider the HM Strat to be a go-to guitar for you? Like, is it a guitar that you can just grab and kind of use it for anything? Or do you think it only has certain styles you can use it for? And just, I guess, if you could just speak to the overall versatility of the guitar, I'd love to hear what you think about that.
Yeah, the HM Strat is definitely a go-to guitar for me. I love that guitar. I've been using it for a very long time. And that guitar is very versatile because it does have a lot of Strat tones and a lot of different pickup configurations, and yeah, so you get great clean tones out of it. You get anything that you need for hard rock or metal. So I do think it's a very versatile guitar.
I know you've had some time to compare the old and the new models. So just if you could just give me your general feeling about how the new model and the old model compare and what the sort of similarities and differences are between the two.
As far as how they compare to the original ones, I can tell you this. I shot the official Fender video for the official demonstration for the HM Strat, the new HM Strat. I can tell you when I walked into the Fender studios, at that point I haven't played guitar in a couple of days, and it was early in the morning and I just picked up the guitar. Immediately it just felt natural, and I do think they're very close to the original. I actually, when John Cruz, custom shop builder, built the two custom shop HM Strats, I actually sent him this HM Strat right here for all kinds of measurements and things like that.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you about is the value of the original instruments now that the new ones have come out. Do you think the value of the originals is going to stay the same? Do you think they will retain their value, or do you think they're maybe going to be worth less now that we have the new supply of HM Strats, or maybe they'll even be worth more? What do you think about that?
I think the value of the original HM Strats will only go up because of this. I think that now the HM Strat is a real topic of conversation. There's a real buzz about it. I think that a lot of people are seeing those guitars for the first time and they're a little shocked probably by Fender all of a sudden releasing a guitar like that. And I think other people that are aware of the original ones, they are just reminded of how awesome these guitars were. I've had so many people come up to me and tell me, I used to have an HM Strat and I sold it and I hate myself for selling it, and all that stuff that we hear often. So I think a lot of people will actually go and buy these new ones, and I think that because there's such a buzz about it right now, I think people will go back and look at the original ones and buy the original ones as well. So I think the value will only go up. And I've seen the value of the HM Strats only. I've seen it only going up in the past 20 years. So I think we should look back at this a few years from now and see if I was right or not, but I think the original HM Strat value will just go up.
Well, Ethan, again, thanks a ton for being involved in this and sharing with us just your sort of overall thoughts and viewpoints on the HM Strat. You've really been carrying the torch for these guitars for many years, and hopefully, you know, there's going to be some more soldiers joining you in that fight. So thank you again, man.
Thanks again, Max, for having me on your channel and doing this video. Anything that has anything to do with the HM Strat, I'm really glad to be a part of. So, rock and roll.
All right, guys, now if you want to check out more of Ethan's work, especially the stuff he's done with the HM Strat, I'll put some links down in the video description below where you can check that out. Now, I will also have, of course, links for the guitar itself and my social media and even my instructional videos if you want to learn how to play some classic 80s shred licks. Now, guys, just to wrap things up, there is no question, I mean, this is an awesome guitar, and I feel very lucky to have it. One thing that did jump out to me as being a little bit odd about it, though, was the choice of the bridge. This is a Floyd Rose Special, which, as you probably know, is the least expensive version of a Floyd Rose. And this is not a cheap guitar. This guitar costs over $1,000. And to have a guitar that is that expensive come with a bridge that you could find on guitars that cost in the $400 to $500 range, it's just a little bit odd. And if the price was the issue when they were deciding what hardware to use, I think for a guitar like this that's you know, a little bit expensive and it's a limited edition, sort of a collector's item in some ways, I think they would have been better off putting a more expensive bridge on it and then just bringing up the price of the guitar a little bit more to reflect that. But what do you guys think about that? Maybe it's not a big deal. And I should mention that I didn't have any trouble at all with the bridge on the guitar. Also guys, tell me, what other classic 80s guitar would you love to see make a comeback? I think Fender has overall done a really good job with this one, but I know there are still other great guitars out there that just aren't around anymore, and maybe they should be. Alright guys, that's it for today. Again, there will be links in the video description below, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you soon.